In America, everyone counts, and the 2020 census is how that great promise is kept. Respond today online, by phone, or by mail, and help inform hundreds of billions in funding for education, health programs, and more. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov. All right, folks, the city of Norfolk, Virginia, they are using federal tax breaks to destroy historically black neighborhoods. That is a story that was reported in Bloomberg. Officials in Norfolk, they made plans to demolish St. Paul's public housing and replace it with new development in the mid-1990s. But the funds were not available. The Opportunity Zones program changed that and provided the funds. Now, Norfolk is one of 3 cities in the country to receive a grant from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The grant will accelerate the replacement of public housing. Now, Norfolk hopes to leverage its $30 million haul into $150 million, including Opportunity Zone eligible money. There are promises that departing residents would be taken care of, but history has shown that's not always the case. Joining me now to discuss how urban renewal displaces poor people, largely black, is Caleb Newby, an investigative reporter for Bloomberg News. Now, Caleb, Donald Trump and Ben Carson and Republicans, they tout opportunity zones, and $75 billion going to these areas. And I've sent emails to the White House saying, well, I want to know, are black people actually getting that? What is that money going to? And what I keep hearing from people, that is really gentrification, that it's investments that are going into these areas, not actually benefiting those residents at all, but benefiting developers.
It's an interesting point. The thing about the Opportunity Zone program is there's 9,000 different census tracts across the country that are designated opportunity zones. Some of them are poor. Some of them are already gentrifying. Some could be gentrifying in the future. And trying to figure out exactly how much of which there is incredibly difficult, because there's actually no official public reporting via Treasury or really anywhere else to help us suss out, exactly where funds are going, and as you raise, to what extent local communities benefit.
So 1 second. So they released this report shortly before the Republican convention, supposedly stating how great these opportunity zones are going. Y'all looked at Norfolk, Virginia, and what does it reveal?
Norfolk, Virginia reveals that as intended by the Opportunity Zone program, state and local governments can basically deploy those funds however they want. And in Norfolk, they have these predominantly black public housing communities near downtown that since the 1990s or so, they've been trying to find a way to redevelop them, essentially. But because it was public land and everything else, it was hard to find financing that worked. And this Opportunity Zone money, along with that grant that you discussed, is allowing them to do something that they've wanted to do for a very long time. And obviously, as you can imagine, it's an incredibly contentious issue in that town.
So again, this is the thing. Look, as somebody, I covered housing early in my career at the county government for the Austin American Statesman. Also was part of my portfolio when I covered City Hall for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. In all of these years, all we always hear, redevelopment. And all these folks, they tout that, and redevelopment coming in, mixed-use housing. They're going to come in with stores and Walmarts and Whole Foods and Targets and all these different stores. And we're going to have these restaurants. And you start going on. And I remember when I was in Chicago, I'm sitting there and I'm going, who the hell can afford to live in all of these townhomes that are $3 and $4 and $5 and $6 and $7, $800,000? And you see that, and really, and now in cities like Washington, D.C., and so many others, as who they're targeting, and the people who seem to be making off like bandits are the developers. And what they do is they sell or pimp out politicians who go, yeah, but you can get reelected on just how energetic this part of town is. Used to be run down, now is thriving, but the people who live there don't have affordable housing.
So that really is the rub, right? Is there was a period in American history through the late 40s, 50s, 60s when these sort of public housing developments really became a thing. And then starting in the 80s, pushing through to the 90s, privatization became the order of the day. And in between, of course, you had white flight from the urban cores of cities out of the suburbs, you creating fiscal crises for cities, and then disinvestment in these public housing developments. So the question naturally, of course, is would they have gone into disrepair had that not happened? So now you, exactly as you say, that private housing often is not affordable for the people who were in the public housing before. And to a certain extent, depending on the city you're talking about, that's intentional, right? Because they see what they describe as decentralization of poverty as essentially a good. And it's sometimes believed that they actually don't want everybody who lived there before to come back, even in the selling of a redevelopment plan.
And when you talk about Norfolk, here's a city 47% white, 43% black. And I keep going just back to the most basic question. When y'all looked at it, who are the people being most impacted by this development? They're destroying black neighborhoods, correct?
Tidewater Gardens and the other two neighborhoods that make up St. Paul's are overwhelmingly black, approaching 100% depending on the block, and overwhelmingly poor as well. So that is absolutely the demographic, and that's not the same numbers as Norfolk as a whole.
What should be the lesson that we get out of, again, the whole great pitch, opportunity zones, and again, they sound great and wonderful, but I always say you got to follow the money. At the end of the day, because when you listen to the pitch, what it sounds like is, oh, we're going to be investing these dollars into these neighborhoods where you have existing businesses to help people there who may want to start their own business, to also improve the housing in those areas. That's not actually what we see happen, correct?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to offer any lessons, but it is certainly true that trying to redevelop public housing developments in an equitable way is a challenge, I'd say, for just about any city. The question really is this private-public partnership framework that has been, the preference of cities all over the country basically since the mid-1990s, really the way to go.
All right, then. Well, look, a great story. Folks should check it out. Bloomberg News. Caleb Newby, thank you very much for your work. Hopefully that we'll get more information on these opportunity zones, exactly what that investment is, where is it going, who is it benefiting, because you're right. Again, look, I've asked, the White House won't even respond to those questions because, frankly, they don't want to respond to those questions. And these are tax breaks. These are folks who are actually, on the taxpayer dime benefiting from that. But in the end, if the people are not truly benefiting and only a handful of rich developers, that's a problem.
Thanks for having me, Roland.
I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Hold on. All right, folks, the folks at Seek.com, black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They are a virtual reality company. Of course, you can check out their content at Seek.com. You can do so, of course, with these virtual reality headsets. So what it does is it allows for you to actually drop your cell phone right into this headset right here, close it up. Then you can actually watch the content in virtual reality. Just simply put this thing on, and that's what you can do, of course. And then you can watch it, and it seems like you're literally right there in the room. So pretty cool device here. You can actually get this device at seek.com, CEEK.com. They also have these 360-degree 4D headphones. These headphones right here, they give out absolute great sound, great bass as well. They Bluetooth. They also have a headset that you can use for gamers as well. So another great headset. So you can get this as a gift for someone or for yourself. All you got to do is go to seek.com, CEEK.com. Use our promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020 in order to get you a discount on these devices. And if you do so, you will be, of course, you will be helping Roland Martin Unfiltered as well. And so we certainly appreciate Seek being a partner here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.